Hello, everyone, and welcome to our June 2022 edition of What's Up in the Sky, brought to you by the Astronomical Society of Penang. If you have not liked and subscribed our page, please do so, our Facebook and YouTube page. So I'll be your host, Dr. Derek Lim, and without further ado, let's check out what's going on in the night sky of June 2022. The evening sky of June 2022 offers a lot of beautiful sights. After the sun sets, in the western horizon we can see the winter triangle slowly setting, and in the south, the constellation of the Southern Cross or Crux is high up in the southern sky, where it rises before the galactic core. The galactic core of the Milky Way actually rises right at about sunset. So by mid-evening, we will be able to see the galactic core in the southeastern horizon. In the northern sky throughout the month, we'll be able to see the asterism of the Big Dipper as it gradually tilts, as if the water in the dipper is being poured down to the ground, signifying the monsoon season, coinciding with our current southwest monsoon. The morning skies of June 2022 still features our favorite planet parade, which consists of the bright planets Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn. After mid-month, Mercury becomes higher and higher in the morning sky and sort of joins the planet parade until it reaches its greatest western elongation on June the 16th. And subsequently, it's a very interesting tag show between Venus and Mercury, where both of them race towards the eastern horizon together as the month progresses. The pair will be caught up by the moon on June 26th and 27th, where Venus, Mercury, the moon will form a beautiful grouping together with the Pleiades and the Hyades of the constellation Taurus in the early morning sky right before sunrise. So do keep watch out for this beautiful sight. Meanwhile, the moon phases for June 2022 will have the first quarter moon on June 10th, the full moon occurring on June the 14th, and the last quarter moon on June 21st. As the moon moves along its orbit, before catching up to Mercury and Venus, it actually catches up to Mars first and has a conjunction with the planet Mars on June 23rd of 2022, where the pair will be about 1.5 degrees or 3 moon widths apart. So this is also a very nice event to observe. And for those of you who do enjoy a little bit challenge, one day before the moon gets near Venus and Mercury, that is on June the 25th, the moon actually glides pretty close by to the planet Uranus in the morning sky. So it's pretty worth watching out for, although the planet Uranus will be about magnitude 5.5, which is just at the limit of naked eye visibility from a dark sky site. However, if you do give this a try, I wish you good luck, and it's actually quite an interesting sight to compare the relative distances of the moon and the planet Uranus and watching it from the Earth's vantage point. One more notable event for June is the summer solstice that occurs on June the 21st. The Earth's axis is tilted 23.44 degrees. On June the 21st, the North Pole axis is tilted maximally towards the Sun, resulting in the longest daytime hours in most of the northern hemisphere, and also continuous daylight above the Arctic Circle of about 66.5 degrees north. So this day actually is very interesting, astronomically speaking, where we have proof that the Earth's axis is tilted. Our constellation of the month for June 2022 will be the constellation of Hercules. Now, this is not a very popular constellation, although it could be if you've heard of the Great Cluster in Hercules. So the constellation of Hercules rises just before the bright star Vega in the east. So you can find it. The constellation has a very interesting keystone shape. What's very interesting is this constellation doesn't have many bright stars. The brightest star is magnitude 3, and this star is called Alpha Hercules or Ras Algeti. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, this star is actually particularly interesting because if we actually use a small telescope and aim it at Alpha Hercules, we can actually resolve it with sufficient magnification, of course. We can resolve it into a pair of stars. The brightest star, or the A component, is at magnitude 3, and the fainter component, the B component, will be at magnitude 5. The stars are separated by about 4 arc seconds in the sky. However, its real physical distance is approximately 550 astronomical units, or 550 times the Earth-Sun distance. There's actually more to the star Alpha Hercules. The A component is actually a giant star, and the B component actually has multiple components as well. It's a spectroscopic binary. Component A is apparently a variable star as well, meaning that its brightness can change. But these are, of course, more advanced topics. So if you're interested in photometry, perhaps observing the brightness variation of the A component will be something of interest. Aside from this, the constellation of Hercules also has 2 Messier clusters. The French astronomer Charles Messier recorded objects that may be confused with comets. His 13th entry and 92nd entry, namely M13 and M92, are in the constellation of Hercules. Both these objects are globular clusters, which are star clusters that can contain between 100,000 to 1,000,000 stars. And both clusters are relatively bright, so they can be visible through binoculars from a dark sky site or even suburban site. So M13 shines at a magnitude of about 5.8 and M92 just slightly fainter at magnitude 6.4. If you're out stargazing somewhere, especially somewhere dark, these clusters are quite a pretty sight. And of course, if you have a telescope, do aim it at the clusters, and you may be able to resolve the clusters, the outer part of the cluster, into little stars. And that will be our constellation of the month for June 2022. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to our What's Up in the Sky program. Take care and keep looking up. Clear skies to you.